Hey, I need to come up with a catchphrase. So it is day 18, Thursday night. Let's start going through the market, talk about a few little things, and see if you have any questions, get them answered. And if you're coming in on the replay, just go down, leave a question, and I'll try to get it answered for you. Uh, didn't have any real questions from yesterday. Had a question from a previous video, and I think uh, it relates. I'm not going to pull it over here because it's in an email where the person asked, you know, it was my last market update, which I need to do another market update. Uh, this is amazing information. Have you had any customers doing a car trade? No, I have not personally done that. And that is something that can technically happen. Uh, that's why there's so few of them. If we want to go through the stats today, we can kind of look at that. In all honesty, it's rare. We don't know what they traded. They just did something. So anyway, I got my V8 fortified with Bloody Mary, no vodka. Let's go ahead and just look over here for a second. Just see how the market's doing. I'm not going to read out the numbers to you. So a lot of price decreases. Uh, I'm not even going to go into it again. You start off high, you actually end up getting less. The longer it takes you to come to realization, the less you're going to make. It's just black letter. Okay, so a little over 1,000. So under contracts are good. Souls are close to the new listing. So just based on what I'm saying here, we still probably have less than 2 months of inventory. A few more contingent on sales have come on the market. That's cool. Okay, so let's just look at the market stats so far. This is, well, you know what? Let me see, just in case somebody cares to look at me. I'll have it here. Uh, so right now, you know how I like to do it. Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson. So right now, there have been a total of 37 solds. For condos, it was eight. I'm sorry, on the market, 822 condos, 79 manufactured homes, 3407 for single family, and 429 for townhomes. Now, what I really want to do is get down into what's been sold so far this month. This is a good time to look. Right now, I mean, we're pretty close to saying this is what the market is going to be. So, looking at it, we're just going to start with condos. So, 193 condos have sold so far. And the stats on those, 255 is the price for the median, average of 294,869. As you can see so far, they're a little bit less than list price. And just talking about list price real quick, that list price that they use there can be very false. So you saw when I showed the number of price decreases and everything, that list price that they're using is based on the final list price when the person made the offer. I use these rabbit ears. You'll figure out in a minute why. So let's ask the house is worth 450, and I'm one of these people who are just super aggro, and I go, I want 500,000 for my house. Okay, the agent listed for 500 because you can't sell a house you never listed. You know, you can always convince someone to go down. I think that's a very bad strategy because that person's going to get less, keep it on the market longer. Not going to get into it. So they get it down to 475, let's say. They sell it for 450 because that's what it was worth. Well, guess what? The number they're using is the 475, not the 500 they started with. So it can be a very misleading number. Okay. And when we look at the I'm not going to look at manufactured. You know what? I'm going to look at manufactured homes purely because, it's hard to believe right now how much these things are selling for. Look at this, 241.2. That's the median price. 13 days average on market. Single family. And we take a look at these results. $465. So I do believe it's sticking. So the price, now this is only for Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Henderson. And I'm going to break this down a little bit. I got some good ones, reasons to do it. So let's just break this down. We'll look at the differences between them for the single family. So by the way, 620 average, which is a big split. That is a big split. But look at that, $12 million home. That contributes to that split. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with Las Vegas. Since we all say Vegas around here, throwing up deuces, right? $470. Okay, interesting. $640 is the price. So that house sold in Vegas. See how that's creating an even bigger split there? Now we take it and we're going to go to, let's do it North Las Vegas. Get rid of Vegas. 170 sold. And let's look at the results. $411. Huge difference. So the median price in North Las Vegas, $411,700, average $427. The highest price sale in North Las Vegas was $720. It was on the market for 555 days. Oh my goodness. Somebody's got to be happy to get rid of that. And let's go see Henderson. I know these numbers are going to be high. Henderson is I'll just say a desirable area. $229, which is more than 170. So more sold in Henderson than in North Las Vegas. $529,983 was the median. $694 was the average. High sale, $9.2 million. So yeah, makes a difference. And let's just look at the rest of all of Southern Nevada, which is what the board looks at, just for single family homes, because I know everybody belongs to some single family homes. 1241 results. So these are the numbers I'm pretty sure you're going to see on the board. 460. So let me just go back. Let me see. Oh, don't tell me I closed it up here. Hold on. Let me open up system. Let's see what the board reported last month, because I'm getting old and outdated. So I can't remember. I think it may have been 460, or was it 465? Hold on one second. Drag this over so you can see it. Drag it myself here. Yeah, 465. My experience, by this time of the month, these are the numbers that are going to be solid here. So they're going to show that prices went down by $5,000. That's my prediction. And just going by that same thing here. Come on here. Let's go in here and the criteria here. And we're going to combine the condos and townhomes, just see what's going on. $290 compared to, oh, that's going to be interesting. So the median price actually went up by $7,500 if my math in public is correct. Okay, so 321 was the average, and whoops, come on. So the average went down just a slight bit, but we had a $2.2 million sale. So yeah, that's where this market is right now. So you see condos are up, single family houses are down. That's interesting. Let's see. Going back, last month there were 864 sales. So if we were to just use math in public and a calculator, so let's see here. We've so far had 339 sales, and we divide that by 18 days. I probably should do 17 because most of the stuff for today isn't in, but 560. Oh my goodness. If it continues at this trend line, it is going to be a huge drop off in sales. Let's compare that to, oh, wait a minute. That's new listings. 590 compared against, oh, look at me, look at me, not doing my calculations, calculating right. 565. It's not a huge drop off. It's right in line. So, yeah, that's where the market stands right now. So what I want to talk about next, unless anybody has any questions about where the market's standing, you're going to see they're going to show new townhomes and condos. The price went up, but the price for single family homes went down. Have roughly the same volume, roughly a little bit less, but some more stuff could happen to the end of the year. I mean, end of the month. So let's just talk about the elephant in the room, inflation or the mortgage rates. Yeah, they're up. And oh no, what I do with my phone? Well, I don't have my phone, so I can't tell you what the mortgage rates are. But anyway, they have gone up. They're saying that they're at the highest level of the year. That's easy to see. Yep, mortgage rates are up. It doesn't look like they're going to be coming down anytime soon. So we're not going to be getting any relief. So I don't know. I mean, it's a bad thing. In a way, it could be a good thing. It's kind of keeping prices in check because a lot of people, I mean, can you imagine if mortgage rates were to crash to 5.5%, which is, oh my goodness. I can remember when mortgage rates were like 3.5%, and I'm telling people they need to buy because what happens if one day they go up to 5.5%? People are like, oh, that's foolish. Now they're 7.5%. So we don't know what's going to happen on mortgage rates. Don't trust them. Don't trust them. Talk about this one for just a second. I don't even think I was sharing my screen there. Symbol mortgages. I've talked about them in some videos in the past. This is one you should really start looking at for some of you. VA and FHA loans are assumable. So if somebody has a 2.5% loan, you can actually take out, or you can actually assume that person's 2.5%. You listening to me? I don't think we're ever getting to 2.5% again. You should be looking at things like assuming that. And what's really out there that people don't understand, conventional loans may be assumable, maybe. So if you're got a house that's out there and you're trying to sell it, I would probably add that to the mix. If you bought that house, 2 years ago and you got 2.5%, all you got to do is when you're listing the house, this is what you tell your agent. Just tell them to contact your mortgage servicer and ask the question whether or not your conventional loan is assumable. You'll be surprised at how many will let you assume it. And for FHA and VA, FHA especially, you should really look at or getting this paperwork out at the very beginning. You're listing the house, talk to your agent and go like, "Hey, I got a 2.5% loan. Can we make it see if somebody can assume it? Because if they assume the loan, they may be willing to pay more." Of course, there are a lot of idiots out there. They do this idiot stuff. And they're like, "Oh, I know the house is worth 500. Can you take 475?" Well, you want the 2.5% interest. The house is worth 500. Give them five. See, maybe give them 515, 520. You're gonna save buckets of money, buckets of money. But people don't see it that way. Uh, Last one. I'm just gonna wrap it up because I don't see any questions here. Let me make sure that I don't before I say that. But I was on a Zoom a few hours ago, and it had a title person on it here in Las Vegas, and they were mentioning how the sellers have already started going like, "I've been saying it on the news. I'm not required to pay the buyer's agent." And they're sitting. We're talking at the closing table. They're looking at paperwork they've already signed, and they're like, "I've been saying on the news, I'm not required to pay the buyer's agent." Well, that's something that happens in July. And just because you're not required to, I'm trying to think of very ginger ways to say this. When you bought your house, unless you bought it brand spanking new, and since nationwide, more than 70% of home buyers at a new build are represented by an agent, unless you bought your house brand spanking new and not represented, or you bought a FISBO for some reason directly from the seller, your agent got paid. Who paid your agent? Well, technically the seller did. In a way, you did, because it's been baked into the price. Well, now they're saying, "Well, I want to make more money. The buyer should pay." Well, if the buyer pays, think about this. The When you average it out across all loan types, the average down payment is 6%. I don't want to talk about percentages that an agent gets because that's what got us into trouble. But you got to find another X percent over that. Think about it. Now, there are people who can pay that. That's fine. Okay, so the people who can pay that, what are they going to do? They'll pay it. And then that's a smaller pool of people looking at a house. So that seller, they're like, "Oh, I've saved all this money." No, you didn't. They factored that in. They're going to probably factor it in more than if you had paid a commission. I'm looking at it this way. I only saw this one time. I was no helping a couple shop for houses, and the female, she was his girlfriend. They weren't married, but she was like, "Well, we have to take 30,000 off this house." I'm like, 30,000 off? Why do you have to take 30,000 off? "I don't like the appliances, so we have to get all new appliances." I'm like, "Okay, that's not normal because the appliances were in good shape." And I asked the question. Then she goes, then I go like, Okay, but new appliances, because first of all, appliances do not include, believe it or not, the washer, dryer, or refrigerator. Appliances are the dishwasher if there's a hole for it, microwave if there's a space for it above the stove, and the stove. I'm like, well, you can get an appliance package for like $2,000 stainless steel. Add in a nice refrigerator, it's like 5 grand. Where'd you come up with $30,000 from? And she goes, they have to compensate me for my time of getting new appliances. Somebody who's paying their realtor themselves is going to want compensation for having to pay their realtor. So that's my 2 cents on it. I can't believe it. I got to make these longer because I now have, oh my God, it keeps growing. Please, somebody ask a question. I've hit my time limit, and I want to make sure that everyone is gets in here and gets some questions answered. Let me check my email. I want to make sure everyone's got everything going here. Oh yeah, I got one I could dance with for a second. We just take a swig here in a second of my V8. Tangy, hot and spicy, along with Bloody Mary mix. Short sales. We'll talk about short sales for a second because they may come back. I don't really see it because most people are way ahead of the curve right now. And like I said, for foreclosures, most foreclosures are people who are putting their heads in the sand. Said that a day or two ago. Here's the process and how it works for a short sale. So let's say you can't afford your house anymore for some odd reason, and you didn't get some kind of a deferral. But let's say you owe 500,000 on the house, and the house is worth 500. As far as believe, that is a short sale. You know why? Because you have to pay your agent's commission. Commissions are negotiable. Can't believe I have to keep saying this stuff. You got to pay closing costs. Oh, now you're upside down, but you don't have the money to pay the closing costs of your agent's commission. So you go to the bank and you're like, hey, I can't make my payments anymore. But I don't want a foreclosure on my record because it hurts more than a short sale. Because some banks will lend you as soon as you do a short sale for some reason I can't understand. Okay, so can you take that 15,000, 20,000, 30, whatever that loss is? We'll just say 20,000 for this one. And they go, okay, we'll let you sell it for 500,000. We'll pay the closing costs, and we'll pay the agent's commissions. And they absorb that 15,000 in this case. That's what we're just saying. That's a short sale. So you can't get an approval for a short sale until you actually have an offer, but you need to put it into the system as a short sale because it's not like a regular sale or even a foreclosure where you can close next week or I'm sorry, next month. Technically, you can close next week. If someone wants to hear about it, I'll talk about it. So you're like, okay, then you put it on the market. Somebody makes an offer. Let them know it's a short sale. You take the listing agent takes the short sale offer after it's been approved by the seller. They still have to approve it, even though they have no skin in the game anymore. Other than if it goes short sale, it's better for their credit than if it goes to foreclosure. Then it goes to the bank or lender. Not all lenders are banks. They may or may not have a short sale department because that was a big thing in the bad old days, like in 2010 through 2012. Well, actually, about 2008 through 2012. There's a lot of short sales. Then they approve, and it's like, okay, we're going to be writing off this amount. if they write it off. Some banks will not write it off, believe it or not. So you think you're going into a short sale and you're going to be able to get everything written off? I'm not going to name banks here, but I've heard that some banks will not write the difference off. They will let you do the short sale, but you're still maybe on the hook in the future. I've never heard of them actually collecting, but you may be on the hook in the future of paying that back. Uh, Once it's been approved, which takes, let's say, 1 to 3 months, because they got to get sit there like, man, we're losing $15,000. And then it goes back and it's like, okay, you're approved. And then after that, it becomes like a regular sale. That's the nuts and bolts of short sale. Foreclosure, they're just letting you know it's a foreclosure. I'm sorry, REO. Most banks don't like to foreclose on people. And it's just like a regular sale. The only difference is in this day and age, a lot of times for foreclosures, they may actually fix the places up if there is value in it. Most people who are foreclosed on put their heads in the sand and they're throwing away hundreds of thousands of dollars, hoping and praying that things are going to get better. They don't get better and they end up in a short sale, and that $100,000 in equity that they had is gone. The bank gets to take that and keep it. So if you're in a situation where it's getting hard for you to pay off your bills and stuff and hard for you to pay your mortgage, find out how much the house is worth, what your closing costs would be, and what you can net. Because some people, it is what it is. Some people are just going to let it go back to the bank and not fight for the house. And fight for the house in this case is putting it on the market, because the bank, they're just going to put it on the market, take the money, the difference that becomes bank's profits. Get it? Okay. Still no questions tonight with such a nice big audience. For me, this is a big audience, 7 people. uh Please let me know, is there any questions anyone has? Because I think I've covered about everything. I've added in the short sale portion. Okay. If you're watching the replay, have any questions, link them down below. If you need anything, call, text, email. Better yet, get on my calendar. And I'm here to help you guys. Today is day 18. I got 12 days to go. I've already figured out my plan for next week for the Grow with Video Live conference. So things will probably be like 1 hour later at 7. At least that way I got it done. They actually end in enough time, but it's down at the M Resort. And by the time that's like no traffic time, rush hour, it's going to be hard for me to just like get back and like make sure that I have everything set up right. So the only thing, I think Tuesday night is our first night, but it ends at 5:15. But I'm staying there at the M Resort that night. Well, not that night. Um, for a party that they're having, an after party doesn't start until 8. So I got a few hours to entertain myself, which means a few hours to run a live stream. So Wednesday and Thursday are going to be the nights where it's going to be at 7 o'clock. Still bring your questions. About the only thing is I'm going to be running from a laptop instead of a nice big desktop. It'll be that laptop right there probably. The only thing is I only have, well, I'll probably bring a second screen. I got second screens for laptops and stuff. So I'll just have to look like a weirdo with multiple screens sitting out, and more people are coming in. Wow. Multiple screens sitting out trying to do the thing. And I maybe get to open one of my new screens. I got a new little laptop screen that actually attaches to the back and flips up. And wow, see that? I guess it like went dark when I did that. That flips up and everything. So really nice. Well, I'll see if it's a nice screen. I got to go open it up. It gives me a excuse to get it opened. So I just hate to end this one tonight with 7 people viewing me. But I guess I'm going to have to, for tonight, leave on top since nobody asked any questions. I will talk to you tomorrow. and see if I can put on a good show for you. And I really, really appreciate everyone who showed up here live tonight and everyone who watches on the replay. Thanks a lot.